and messages of congratulations coming in for President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris. This one from Hillary Clinton. She just tweeted this: "The voters have spoken, and they have chosen Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to be our next president and vice president. It is a history-making ticket, a repudiation of Trump, and a new page for America. Thank you to everyone who helped make this happen. Onward together," writes former Secretary Hillary Clinton, of course, who lost to Donald Trump 4 years ago in her own bid for the White House. We can also add Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau expressing his congratulations, and the mayor of Paris tweeting simply, "Welcome back, America."
Long as it was to get the right to vote and to get it protected in the first place, and that's why everybody is in.
Biden is expected to give his first speech this evening as president-elect. You're someone in a household where I know you a little bit, and I know your family a little bit, and there are Trump supporters in your family and Biden supporters in your family. What does Joe Biden need to say to start unifying the country?
Well, I must say, not just for my son, but others in my family and universe who have different political views. I'm really proud of my son today. He's an American first, like I am. He believes in this country, and he also wants to see us move forward in unity, as disappointed as he may be. And we are family first and always will be. And this is a moment where we all need to look to the future and heal. And I believe that's what he believes as well. So we're together today. We're one household. We're one country. And we got to remember that just as in a family, in a country, we have so much more in common than that which divides us. And you've got to find that fundamental truth together as to who we are and what we can be. We can't survive divided. We can only be strong and safe and prosperous if we come together. And this is a moment where, on a very personal level and on a national level, even on a global level, we have to recognize and embrace that reality.
Great anticlimactic ending that folks have been seeing for several days. The focus now is really shifting to people thinking about themselves, their own futures, with a White House official telling us that a lot of people are coming to terms with this. They're starting to think through the transition, where they're going to go starting in January. And a senior campaign aide lets our team know, too, that there is still some work to do. As we've been talking about, and as you've been talking about there on set, the question is, how does this transition look for President Trump? He is likely, based on my experience in the last 5 years covering him from Inauguration Day in 2017, he's likely to fume. He is likely to continue to push conspiracy theories about the election results. It may be a turbulent couple of months here. I will tell you too, Lester, right when the race was called by NBC News and other outlets, you couldn't hear what was happening on Black Lives Matter Plaza on the park just outside of the White House.
But he's also out there claiming once again that he actually won the election. He's making all sorts of false allegations about massive voter fraud. There's no evidence of that anywhere. How should how should President-elect Joe Biden deal with this? And do you have concerns about whether or not there will be a peaceful transition of power?
I think it's hard not to have some degree of concern, but I believe that this country is strong and resilient, and that our institutions have shown up for this moment. Jake, if you'd asked me a week ago, 2 weeks ago, would our state and local officials, would our courts, would our people continue to have patience and faith in our process? How confident of that was I? I was confident, but I wasn't super confident. And today we can look at all of those and say, my goodness. And I have to say the media too. The media played this responsibly. And so all of our institutions have held. Now, Donald Trump has a choice to make. He can stand up and be part of our democracy, our historic tradition. He can be a responsible leader to hand off power. I know there are many reasons to doubt that, and I can't say I'm particularly optimistic, but the best thing he could do for himself, for his party, and for our country is to act like a president of the United States now at this late stage. So I hope he will. But if he doesn't, quite frankly, the nation, the institutions, the world, we're moving on. There will be a transition. Joe Biden will be the next president of the United States come January 20th. And he and Kamala Harris will be prepared to lead a team to govern this country again with competence and integrity. So it is going to be okay. It may be, a rough next couple of months if Donald Trump chooses to make it that way. That would be unfortunate for his legacy. It'd be unfortunate for the country. But we will get through this. And when we come out the other end, it will be a better day, and a day when finally government is turned to serve the American people and our many, many needs.
More visceral about the way the country felt every day for the last 3.5 years, in a state of perpetual combat and anxiety for some people, and being suspicious of the person across the street or the person on social media, and always feeling like we're at war with each other, political war with each other. Joe Biden sought over the course of the campaign to show that he would turn down the temperature on some of that.
Most of my family members voted for Donald Trump. And while I don't understand why they voted for Donald Trump, I know that they did. I know that they love America. I know that they want what's best for America. And I know this, and this would be hard for a lot of people watching today to understand. I know that they are very scared for America right now because they stopped trusting Democrats, people in the media, and Washington elites a long time ago. Joe Biden understands that. He has said throughout the campaign he understands that. And it is going to be job number one for him to bring this country back together. Let's see if he can do it.
It's going to be very hard to figure out.
Last second, I wrote in here of 19 that I had endorsed Joe Biden, and I felt very vulnerable. And the reason I felt so vulnerable is because it didn't make sense to support him at that time. But what I knew, and I did know him well at the time, is that he was a good man. And looking at my children and the excitement and how they erupted when this was announced, really just validated what I knew then, that our kids were watching us and they were dependent on us to get this right. And my children they've had so much anxiety about where we are as a country. And this is a man who has a heart, who can help heal this nation. And I'm just so very proud of us as a country, and very, very happy for Joe Biden.
Mayor Bottoms, it's Willie Geist. It's so great to see you today. You're speaking with your emotion right now for a lot of people in this country right now. There's no doubt about it. I want to ask you about the Vice President-elect, Kamala Harris, of course, the first black woman, the first Indian-American woman to hold an office that high in our government. What are your thoughts about Vice President-elect Harris today?
I'm so proud that this is a ticket that represents who we are, and even more proud that my mother gets to see this moment and my daughter gets to see this moment. And representation matters. And Joe Biden has said to me repeatedly that he wanted a ticket that reflected who we are as a country, and that he wants his administration to reflect who we are as a country. And there is no better representation than Kamala Harris on this ticket. She represents the best of us in America, and this is a ticket that we can all be proud of.
Park, I think I saw an image from above. There we have the President's Church, St. John's Church, and crowded all around that, right by Lafayette Park. And Reverend Al, I know you want to ask the mayor a question next, but I'm just being a political analyst here, and certainly I speak for no one but myself when I say this, but it seemed to me that June the 1st, 2020 was a defining moment in the presidency of Donald Trump, and also in this campaign, when Donald Trump cleared out peaceful protesters in Lafayette Square.
To listen to those cheers. He's out on the golf course right now. You're looking at what we believe to be some live pictures of
the Trump golf course out in Virginia. He's out there today. But I can tell you, the president has reacted. People inside the campaign have reacted. And what we're hearing, first of all, the president is saying in a statement, we're not going to read it to you because it's full of false information, but the president is saying in a statement he's not going to accept the results of this election right now, that the legal challenges are going to proceed starting on Monday.
You supported Joe Biden. Your thoughts on his victory, President-elect Biden?
Well, you know, Anderson, there's not been a Republican over the last 4 years that did more to say that he was not that Trump was not doing a good job. Remember, I didn't go to the convention, the Republican convention, and then I spoke at the Democrat convention, and I've been very vocal about this. But I want to do, and the far left can push him as hard as they want. And frankly, the Democrats have to make it clear to the far left that they almost cost him this election. That people in this country are basically center right, center left. They're not far left, and they're also not far right. And we got to hope that the far right will act responsibly now that this election is over. But do I think it's possible that you can get something done on climate? Yes. Is it going to be, you know, some new Green Deal? Of course not. But there's reasonable things that can be done.
Well, yeah, Nora, you know, moments after the projections were made, the celebrations began here in New York City, throughout this New York City, including here in Columbus Circle. And you probably know that this is home to Trump International Hotel. It's not the Trump Tower, but one of Donald Trump's properties. But this organic celebration really began just as the news broke throughout the city. Not immediately, you heard the car horns start honking, people whistling, yelling in the streets, the pots and pans banging together outside apartment windows. And, you know, living in New York City, oftentimes that's how you find out that something just happened. You just hear the celebrations outside.
Biden defeats Trump. It's on the WashingtonPost.com. Let's go to Mike in Crawley, Louisiana. Mike?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi.
Yes, ma'am. How are you today? Yes, ma'am. I did vote for Trump. You know, I looked at everything, and I noticed it'll probably be in the news tomorrow about the Pentecostal majority and the Christians, how they should have voted. They should have voted for Trump, but evidently they changed course. And when you vote for a candidate, you hear what's coming out of his mouth, but they're sworn to the Constitution to defend that Constitution, and that's what we're expecting. So Joe Biden being president, he's going to have to live up to the whole ball. He's going to do the Constitution and do what we ask under the Constitution. You can't have your own agenda. That's impossible. That is unconstitutional and un-American. But since Biden did win, I'll do my due diligence to agree with the policies set forth by the righteousness of the Constitution, the amendments, and all the Bill of Rights. Those people are looking for a winner in office. They're not looking for a joker or a businessman that wants to go off track. You can't blow the tracks. You got to stay on the railroad tracks. But God bless y'all, and I hope to see y'all again.
Close to St. John's Church, the president's church, that yellow church that many of you saw during his presidency when protests were cleared from the White House area for him to go over to that church. So that is the area of Washington, D.C. that you are looking at right now. Let me go to Pat, Birmingham, Alabama. Pat, who did you vote for?
Well, believe it or not, as much blood, sweat, and tears was shed here in my hometown, believe it or not, I wasn't able to vote. And I'm so sad. I apologize to the blood of my ancestors that I didn't vote. But I want to say this. I feel so sorry for America because it seems to me that the media chose the President of the United States. I have said that President Trump did not kill the many black people that have been killed in Chicago, Philadelphia, and Birmingham. And if he is a racist, he wasn't the one perpetrating the murders that we have seen in Democratic districts. Although I have said here in Birmingham that Joe Biden is probably the least racist of the Democrats, and probably better than most Democrats. So, but the reason in my illness and not feeling well and seeing about an ailing mother, I didn't push any further because of the suspicion that I had of what James Carville said the other night on election night when he said, put your razors up and put your medicine back in the medicine cabinet. We have this. You see, in 2016, I did vote for President Trump. And you know what I found out, C-SPAN? I found out there were some razors that could have harmed and damaged my life. And when I heard one of them, as Trump says, one of the fake media personalities say, oh, some people would be afraid to say they voted for President Trump. Why? In America, should anybody be afraid to think for themselves?
All right, Pat. Some this afternoon. Stacey Abrams, who ran for governor and played a big role in getting out the vote in the state of Georgia. Congratulations, Mr. President-elect. Georgians look forward to adding our votes to the total once all voices are heard, and together we will restore the soul of this nation. Votes are still being counted in Georgia. Bernie Sanders, I want to congratulate all those who worked so hard to make this historic day possible. Now, through our continued grassroots organizing, let us create a government that works for all and not the few. Let us create a nation built on justice, not greed and bigotry. Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, we kept the republic. Congratulations to Joe Biden on his soul of our country. Congratulations to Kamala Harris for making history. It is time to heal and a time to grow together. Bill Clinton, former president, America has spoken and democracy has won. Now we have a president-elect and vice president-elect who will serve all of us and bring us all together. Congratulations to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris on your momentous victory.
Primary one being that if you listen to President Trump, especially as he was campaigning to his base, he actually said, I'm sick of hearing about COVID-19. If you turn on the media, all you hear about is COVID-19. I think it's particularly insulting to the family of the folks of over 200,000 Americans who lost family members, who lost loved ones, thousands more who have complications having survived the virus, and millions whose lives have been upended by the inadequate national response to containing this virus. It's insulting to Americans who organize grassroots campaigns to register voters on both parties, and to voters who legally voted by mail for fear of spreading this virus to their family, to their loved ones, to have their integrity questioned by an administration that has done such a poor job at supporting their citizens during this once-in-a-century pandemic. I am happy that Biden won, and perhaps we can restore some common sense into the executive branch. I hope for both Republicans and Democrats to put their differences aside and get this virus under control. It is hurting thousands, millions of people across this country. It is not about you. It is about America.
Abby, what do you do for a living?
I am an educator, and I can tell you that our young people are scared. They are scared about where this country is going. I work with young people every day.
All right. Abby, I want to share with you and others, the president-elect, Joe Biden, sending out this tweet. America, I'm honored that you have chosen me to lead our great country. The work ahead of us will be hard, but I promise you that I will be the president for all Americans, whether you voted for me or not. I will keep the faith that you have placed in me. Now, the president-elect and the vice president-elect will be delivering remarks tonight in Wilmington, Delaware. We will have coverage right here, 8 p.m. Eastern Time